And I now give the floor to the representative of the Russian Federation. You have the floor, madam.
Mr. President, we're grateful to the Special Representative of the Secretary General, Francois Lancenufal, for his update on the situation in this Central African sub-region. Russia has always supported the activity of the UN Office for Central Africa as an important instrument of preventive diplomacy. We believe that the good offices of the Special Representative FAL are extremely useful, and in this connection we support the recommendation of the Secretary General to extend the mandate of the mission for 3 years. Mr. President, the situation in Central Africa remains very complex and is characterized by an increased terrorist activity, political tensions, and continued conflicts. The coronavirus is also still present in the region, which has compounded an already difficult socioeconomic situation of the people living there. Now, we're particularly concerned about the fragile and unstable security situation in Chad. On the 20th of April, President Deby was killed there. We believe that this tragic event will have far-reaching consequences for peace and stability in the region and on the continent as a whole. That said, I think it's important to remember that it is precisely the Western intervention into neighboring Libya in 2011 and the bloody conflict that followed for many years that led to the very tragic situation, current situation in the region. Now, our views on this are confirmed by the outcome of the extraordinary summit of the Commission of the States of the Lake Chad Basin that took place in Abuja on the 25th of May under the chairmanship of the President of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari. We support the efforts of the African Union to normalize the situation in Chad, including the recommendation to organize a national dialogue and reconciliation, as well as on a timely holding of democratic elections. Now, overall, a particularity of the region are its porous borders. Through these borders, peaceful civilians, goods, but also insurgents and contraband move freely. On the 30th of May, for example, on the border of Chad and the Central African Republic, as a result of a provocation by insurgents from the coalition of Patriots for Change, which opposes the government of Bangui. As a result of that, a clash occurred between the Central African and Chadian soldiers, which led to loss of life. In this connection, we call all sides to demonstrate maximum restraint and to resolve any issues that occur peacefully. We note the readiness of the CAR authorities to ensure the security of their borders together with N'Djamena. To prevent any kind of misunderstanding in the future, Chad and the CAR must create a joint commission and to conduct a demarcation of their border. We know that this kind of initiative has been proposed by Bangui, and we hope that N'Djamena will agree to it. Mr. President, unfortunately, we have to note the expansion of the area of activity of terrorist groups in Central Africa. Boko Haram, together with the Islamic State in West Africa, are the main sources of instability in Cameroon, Nigeria, Niger, and Chad. Jihadists are also intent on consolidating their position in the Central African Republic. We believe that uncontrolled jihadist propaganda that leads to radicalization of the local population, as well as the weakness of the central authorities in the peripheral areas of certain countries, in addition to socioeconomic problems and easy access to firearms, make it very realistic to see a reestablishment of the Caliphate 2.0 in Africa. In this connection, we think it's very important to increase efforts of countries to quickly identify and block channels through which terrorists are supplied with ideological, material, financial, and human resources. Furthermore, we believe that a more active use of the instruments of the subsidiary specialized bodies of the Security Council, first and foremost the Counterterrorism Committee and the Sanctions Committee on ISIL and Al Qaeda, will contribute to an effective prevention and countering of the terrorist threat on the African continent, including the threat that comes from Boko Haram. Mr. President, we're extremely concerned about the situation regarding the security of maritime navigation in the Gulf of Guinea. There are many cases of maritime piracy against the commercial vessels, abduction of members of crews by pirates, and demands for ransom. We note the activity of the global program to combat maritime crime that is overseen by the UNODC. In 2020, the Russian Federation decided to allocate a special contribution to the fund of this program. These resources are used for technical assistance for Coast Guard services of the coastal states of the Gulf of Guinea. We intend to continue providing financial assistance to regional partners through the UN. We believe also it would be a good idea to more actively involve UN mechanisms to counter piracy and maritime crime. As we see it, the positive experience of the contact group to combat piracy off the shore of Somalia could be used to deal with similar problems in the Gulf of Guinea. Mr. President, unfortunately, I cannot leave without reacting to the statement by the U.S. colleague. There's nothing principally new or unexpected in what we heard in the statement that he made. The U.S. delegation continues to make the same unfounded accusations against us. And in addition to the campaign that has been launched in the media, we believe that this is simply a coordinated actions to give Russia a bad name, to in particularly undermine our effective efforts to stabilize the situation in the Central African Republic. It is effective, in particular compared to other bilateral efforts at assistance. We believe that the investigation of possible cases of the violations of international humanitarian law must be conducted by the relevant authorities of the Central African Republic. Once convincing evidence is transmitted to them and once they are apprised of the facts. This should be done rather than baseless accusations and biased media investigations. We also note that we believe that it's unacceptable to blackmail countries, including the Central African Republic, countries that find themselves in very difficult situations, to blackmail them by threatening to cut off bilateral assistance, including financial assistance, because of their inappropriate so-called behavior or the fact that they're cooperating with the wrong partners. This kind of tactic is widely used by our colleagues, who are so worried, according to what they say, about the well-being of ordinary people. As for coordination and cooperation with the UN mission in the CAR, we will continue. We will continue that cooperation both here in New York and on the ground. Thank you very much for your attention.
I thank the representative of the Russian Federation for her statement.